Good afternoon, legislators. I'm just going to put in the record what I had sent everybody in email. I know that DPW is trying to get things better. I do know that the legislature has asked what it would cost to run the buses later and everything else, which kind of funnily, I gave the state senators the same number 3 months ago when I told them we needed $20 million. And when they figured it out by each bus route and everything, it came out to 18.5 million. And it took them a week and a half to do it. It took me 30 seconds to come up with that number, but that's neither here nor there. I just want to let you know the last 3 days of last week that I took the buses. Here's the major issues, and it has not changed at all. Okay? Tuesday, the day it rained, not one AVL system was working on any bus. When you went to go to see what your bus number was, in front of the bus, it wasn't lit up. On the side of the bus, it wasn't lit up. Some of the AVL inside the bus, giving the bus stops and what have you, was working, but not one sign on the bus. And half the bus drivers are not yelling out at a transfer point or when they're starting what bus they are and where they're going. When you get to Patchogue, this is a major, major issue. And DPW moved buses at the request of Patchogue to the railroad station to make it easier. But the problem is the bus schedules make it so you cannot make a connection there. And when you do, the buses, when they come across the railroad tracks and make that right-hand turn, they drop everybody off at the end of the corner. You have to walk all the way down to the other corner of the railroad station to get on the bus. That's a good 3-4 minute walk. If your bus comes in and you've got 2 minutes to make a bus, good luck. And the other problem is they've got signs up, but the buses go wherever they want down that road where the signs are. Not like Babylon, where they redid it and they made bus lanes for all the buses. It was impossible. I missed my S40 bus because all of a sudden they decided they were going to use an Airbach bus on there, which they've never done except on a weekend. And the problem was you can't see it from the back end what the bus number is. Nobody yelled out what the bus it was. I missed the bus. Thank God I only had to wait a half hour because that's one of the few buses that runs every half hour. But that's a major issue. It's a very, very major issue. And then when I asked the bus driver to kneel the bus, he wouldn't kneel the bus on the airbox. The bigger buses, they will kneel. But these airbox are a real problem. I know we have to use them until they run out of miles. I wish they would put them on the longest run and just keep running them until they run out of miles. Thank you very much.
So as you heard Paul just now talk about the chaos with the AVL signs not working in Suffolk County, I have another example of the same thing happening in Suffolk. And I was actually in Colmac with my parents 2 weeks ago. Now, if you're familiar with the S54 route, it's a route that goes between the Walt Whitman Mall and Patchogue Long Island Railroad Station, right? So, Colmac is a major transfer point, okay? The S56 is right there. And people transfer to that bus for service to the Smith Haven Mall. But that's not the point. The point I'm trying to bring up here was that this sign, the AVL sign, was having a problem. It was a northbound bus on Vets Highway. I was in the Candlewood Diner and I was able to get a glimpse of it. This is right around before 4:30 this happened. So, this Gilling comes up Veterans Highway as it's trying to go westbound the Jericho Turnpike and make a left into the Macy's Shopping Center. It didn't say S54 on it. It just said Walt Whitman Mall on it. That's all it said, and I'm saying, this is odd. This S54 is supposed to say S54. Why isn't it saying S54 to Walt Whitman Mall? And then I see a southbound bus coming, and guess what it says? S54, Patchogue Railroad. The northbound bus to the Walt Whitman Mall didn't have the S54 sign on it. So, you clearly heard what Paul was talking about. What is wrong with the AVL systems in Suffolk? I don't understand that. And it's happening in Nassau too, Paul. You want an example of this happening? Go to Nassau County, alright? I've seen a few N25s without their back signs. The front sign's working. It says N25 Limbrook Railroad, right? But on the back, I've seen this happen numerous times this year. Even my dad has seen this. The sign on the back of the bus is missing. That is supposed to say N25. So you want an example of how bad it is in Suffolk? Paul, Nice Bus is a disaster too. I can't make the comparison if Suffolk is worse or not. Maybe it's worse than Nice Bus. I can't make the comparison because, again, I've never taken Suffolk Transit. I've only been on NYCT Bus and I have been on Nice. Alright, other than that, I have not been on Suffolk Transit. And literally, examples like this. And I've even seen Pine Power's previous videos with Suffolk. It literally turns me off from riding any public bus in Suffolk County. If I want to go to Suffolk, I have to be in an area where it's in walking distance to a train station. Or I have to be driven out to Suffolk. Because again, the buses are unacceptable in Suffolk. Just like how a majority of them in Nassau County with Nice Bus are unacceptable too. Just because, again, you don't have the state of New York running the buses. The MTA is supposed to. But no, politics have to get involved. That's where I end my point. And, you know, I understand that this is, of course, a southbound bus. It says Patchogue RR on it. This one actually has its sign working. So it clearly proves the point that, I'm going to say this again, and Pine Power has agreed in the short-term fix. We need to get rid of EBT, we need to get rid of Twin Forks, and just have Suffolk Bus Corp run the entire bus system in Suffolk until MTA can maybe do something. But until then, I doubt MTA is coming out to Suffolk anytime soon. And that's where I am my point. Oh, and one last thing. Another reason why I don't want to take Suffolk Transit. You know how I'm a disabled customer, right? Do you know, in order to get the discount in Suffolk, you need to have your Medicaid card? I don't have my Medicaid card on me 24/7. Who keeps their Medicaid card with them 24/7? They don't take Metro cards. And that's another reason why I don't want to ride Suffolk Transit. Metro card's just easier to use. And again, sorry for ranting, but, you know, literally Suffolk has its problems. Paul Pressman is the voice of the voiceless. This is probably going to be one of the few times where I give my insight on Suffolk Transit. Because literally, normally, I would just keep the audio. That would be it. But what I saw 2 weeks ago, and what Paul just said in the previous audio clip, clearly just makes sense of how a disaster Suffolk Transit is. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, take care.